Now here is a very profound insight, both in terms of what a donkey means in the context of this story, and Abraham, and the Messiah, and even on a deeper level, by looking at the word itself, what the word donkey represents. And let us first discuss, what is a donkey? Well, in the case of Abraham, Moses, and eventually the Messiah, it is a means of transportation. They didn't have cars, and especially if they needed to carry a burden, the way to get from here to there, the way to reach our destination, or to reach it more easily or more quickly, or to go from a low place to a high place, was the donkey. That is what transportation is. It transports us. Doprava, as we would say in Slovak, a dopravni prostriedok. So that is what the donkey is. And that is going to have very important spiritual significance. What is this thing that is helping us get somewhere that we could not get otherwise? It is a chamor. Now let us look at the letters of chamor. It is chet, mem, vav, resh. And the shoresh, the three-letter root, is the very same as the word chomer, which means material, materiality. So now if we put these two thoughts together, we discover that it is the materiality that is the means of transportation. It is the materiality that will take us someplace we cannot get otherwise. This is the surprise. What is not material? The spiritual, the soul. There is a soul and a body. And now we find out that the soul's potential for elevation, for reaching its source, which means getting from here to there, is limited. The only way that the soul can achieve an exponential level of transformation is through the body. The body, the materiality, is actually what is helping the soul get from here to there. The soul comes from a spiritual source into a physical body. In its original existence, it enjoys an open perception of godliness, but it cannot become more than that. Only when it joins with the physical world, with all its difficulties, it can actually have much greater ascent and an infinite ascent. And so it is the chomer, the material, that is transporting the spiritual. Now it can only do that when we use the material for the sake of the spiritual. So excess and hedonism will not get us from here to there. It will not help us achieve our means because it is glorifying the material as material. But when we look at as materiality, as something that is at its root and in its essence godliness, then we have unmasked it, and then through the material, and ironically only through the material, can we have this infinite ascent. And that is because the soul represents godliness revealed. It's spiritual, and spiritual is good. But to the extent that it can manifest godly presence, it means that it's limited. God, after all, is infinite, and our perceptions are finite. And therefore, it is said that God created the material where he is in complete concealment. But it is the very fact of this concealment in the material where we don't have to see godliness right away, and we don't. And Hasidut explains that this is because in the material is actually found the very essence of God. Because the essence of God is of such an infinite nature, so it can only be invested in this world in the materiality which completely conceals it. It's a difficult concept. But we're able to unleash that and unlock that when we use that material object for the purpose that the same infinite God commands us to. And that is how the chamor, the donkey, which is really meaning the materiality, helps us reach an even higher level and our goal and our ultimate purpose in this world.